Welcome again to another edition of Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris. Happy Thanksgiving. I know it was a great Thanksgiving wherever you were. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. The topic for today is going to be ending the semester right. End the semester right. So if you recall I did a previous episode on starting the semester right, which I will actually highlight again at the end of the session. But I figured right after Thanksgiving, we're getting ready for finals. So let's get into how to prepare for the finals and end the semester right. Again, please, if you haven't subscribed yet, do so. And thank you for those that have subscribed. And once again, I hope you had a great, wonderful Thanksgiving. So the semester is coming to an end. Congratulations. You've made it this far. We're getting ready for the finals. I'm going to give you 5 steps on how to end the semester right. But before I do that, we have to do a little reflection, okay? Usually, I tell students, I hope you're not putting all your eggs into the finals basket. And what I mean by that is we haven't done well in any of our classes through the semester, and now that it's ending, we're banking, we're putting everything, we're hoping that the final is what is going to get us over the top to get a good grade. And the reason I said don't put all your eggs in the final basket, if you've noticed, there's going to be multiple finals, and it could happen that you are going to have a final or 2 or 3 on the same day. So you're not at an advantage when it comes to the finals, and you're not preparing prior to that, okay? So I'm hoping that's not the case for you. Your semester has gone well, your grades are where they need to be, and the final is just to kind of put you over the top, right? We're going to do well, maybe you get a 70, and it should be good to put you where you want to be. All right, another reflection is also to remember that every course has its student learning outcome. That is, what are you expected to get from that class, right? So hopefully you do a little reflection and understanding what those student learning outcomes are going to be, okay? All right, so with that, let's get into my 5 steps of how to end the semester right, either be the final. My very first step is grade check. What do I mean by grade check, okay? You want to check all your grades for all your classes, get a spreadsheet. You should be able to calculate all the grades for all your classes. So as you're going to the final, there is no confusion on what I need to do on the final to get the grade that you think you deserve, okay? I create a spreadsheet for my class and I give it to the students, and they can put in all their homeworks and all the exams, and there's one box that they could just plug in numbers, right? Okay, 60. And then it tells you what a grade is going to be for your final, maybe 70. So that way you know exactly what you have to do on the finals to get the grade that you deserve, okay? So do check that, because you also want to make sure that the grade that you expect is the same grade that your instructors have in their books, right? These days, we have Blackboard, we have Canvas. So automatically calculates what your grades for the class are going to be. So the very first step is check all your grades, okay, for all your classes leading into the final. Step 2, the final prep. How to prepare for your finals. Okay. If you have a project, hopefully you're working on that project, and there isn't much that you could do. You control the deadline and how to get it done. I'm talking about your finals that you're going to be going into the class to take, how to prepare for that finals. Number 1 in the final prep is, it's a lot that goes into the final, okay? So usually your instructors will say, hey, here is what I'm going to expect you to learn for the final. And also because most finals, you're expected to apply the concept that you've learned in the class on the final. So it's more qualitative than quantitative, okay? So that means you have to really apply what you learned in the class. You have to trust the instructors. I know some students say, well, this professor always says exam is going to be on chapters 1 through 3, but then you go to the exams, you don't see anything from chapters 1 through 3. I can't speak for any instructor, but I tell you, most instructors are very honest when it comes to what is going to be on your final. Yes, it could be cumulative. It could be comprehensive, right? So just trust what they tell you is going to be on the final, so you're not learning. There's nothing unnecessary that you're going to learn, right? But hopefully you can stay. It will help you, guide you, because you don't have enough time during the final to be learning everything. Okay. Also, check the finals for all your classes so you can create a schedule on when to study for each one of them. Okay. You have to do that. And what is the best way to also study for the finals? Some students, come to me and I said, go back and look at the problems that you didn't get right. One of the things that I actually sway students from doing is going back looking for the old exams that the professor have used. I can tell you, in all my years of teaching, I'm yet to repeat an exam. As difficult as it is to recreate different exams, I know all these old exams are floating around the place. So my students know I'm not going to repeat my exams, and also to encourage you, to help you to really study for my class. So please do not dwell so much on old exams. If you're using it for practice, if you have time, that's fair. But if you're thinking what you're studying or from the old exams, what's going to be on exams, you're not helping yourself and you're not helping anyone really. Okay, so please, 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 just stay away from the old exams and just study for what you expected to know for the class. Also, during the review, there are some instructors that probably will say, well, overall, students haven't done very well in my class, so I'm going to throw in an extra credit. And usually students pause to say, should I do this extra credit or not? Here's my advice for you. There is no extra credit as extra credit. In my mind, as a student, as an instructor, I'm jumping on any opportunity for an extra credit. In my mind, an extra credit is needed credit. Okay? So yes, you think probably you're getting a B or even an A, so you don't need the extra credit. You have no idea what's going to happen on the final, so please take advantage of any extra credit opportunity comes your way. Okay? All right, so that's my step 2, final prep. Let's go to step 3. This is the final day. Step 3, final day, the D day. This is when you're actually going in to take your exams. One of the things that I share with my students is please, please, please do not study into the night when the next morning you have an exams. Our brains are not mechanical. They need rest, just as we do need rest. So why put yourself through that, then go to the exams tired and fall asleep during exams? So first point on my final day prepping is please make sure you get plenty rest before you go to the exams. Arrive on time on the day you have your exams, so you're not going in there stressing out, trying to figure out if you have the right pencil, the pen, the calculator that you have. You're checking all this stuff here if you're going in late. Go in on time, relax, and here's my advice. I do this, but not every instructor is going to do this, okay? So either way, when you get the exams, we get into this panic mode, right? Trying to start exams immediately because we think we're going to run out of time. Take your time. I usually give my students a minute or two to go through the exams without writing anything, just to go through the exams. Or even before that, I say, hey, I'm going to give you a minute, relax. If you want to pray before the exam starts, please do so. I'm going to share a very quick, interesting thing that happened during one of my exams. Like I said, usually before the exams, I give students time to just pause a little bit, reflect, and then pray. And then one of my exams, when I told the students to take a minute or two to pray, the student said, Professor Chris, is this exam going to be so difficult that we have to pray before we start exams? And we all got a good laugh, right? It was a good icebreaker before the exams, and it was great. That was not my intention. Okay, none of my exams are so challenging that you have to pray in order to do it. I just believe you praying relaxes you. Some students complain about panic attack and your heart rate going all over above the roof. So that is a good way to just relax, reflect, and know that your knowledge is coming from above, and so that way you can reproduce. Okay, so it's very good. However, not every instructor is going to be like me, so most instructors are not going to give you that minute or two. You take it. It's your time. Relax. Just go through the exams. I guarantee you're going to find one problem on exams that you're going to recognize, and you're going to say, oh, I think this is a very good problem. Let me start with this problem. Remember, my last episode of the podcast I did, I was giving you pointers, and I said, start small to generate flow. That's exactly what you're doing in this case. Find a problem that is very familiar to you, you've seen before, start with that problem so that way it generates energy, it generates encouragement, it generates confidence for you to move on with the rest of the exams, okay? The last point on step 3, final day, is this. I don't know why some students think it's a race to see who finishes the exams first. I hope you don't think that's the case. Take your time to do the exams. If you finish and you have time, use that time to go over the exams. I don't encourage anyone to get out of the exams, leave when you finish. And then students also think that when students get up in the middle of the exams to turn in the exams, that means they finished the exams. And you're wondering, oh, wow, what am I doing wrong? This person is finished with the exams. Far from it. Some students give up in the middle of the exams and you have no idea what's going on. They might just say, I can't do these exams. I'm not going to spend any more time doing exams, and get up. And I see it all the time. So focus on your exams. Don't worry about what is going on around you. And again, do take the time to complete your exams. If there's time left, usually I tell students, I'm not going to let you go unless the time assigned for the exams ends, okay? But it's not going to happen in all the different instructors, different case. So just take your time, go through the exams, and use the time left to just go over your exams. Remember, this is also the finals, which means you're not going to have time to go back to your instructor to review what you did on the finals, okay? All right, that's my step 3. Step 4, the final grade. Check your final grade before you leave for any vacation. As I mentioned before in step 3, once you finish your final, instructors probably have 2-3 days to finish grading and turn in their grades, because some of you are graduating, some of you are seniors, all right? So you want to check all your grades to make sure that you've passed all your classes. Hopefully. If there's any dispute, if you don't agree with any grade, you probably want to take care of it before, again, you leave campus or you go on your vacation. And if you're having an incomplete grade, you want to check with the professor to see how much time. Usually an incomplete means you have a couple of weeks to come back when the next semester starts to see how you can complete maybe a project or an assignment. So you want to check with the instructor to find out how much time you're going to have for an incomplete. It could be 1 week, it could be 2 weeks, so you want to check on all that, okay? So that's my step 4, the final grade. Step 5, it is what's up next for the next semester. What's up next semester? Why is this important? Registration, as you know, already started, even before your finals. So you want to make sure that your classes are registered and you've got into those classes. If you're a senior, that means you're not worried about what's up next the following semester, but you want to check your grades to make sure, again, if you've passed, and also to make sure that you're graduating if you're a senior. If you're coming back, the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you've registered for the next semester again before you leave. I've already touched on this here. Check the podcast on starting the semester right to give you the guidelines on this step 5, okay? All right, those are my 5 steps. However, I'm going to throw in a bonus step here that I call the cleanup. Complete your student evaluation, please. If there's something wrong with the class, instructors like to get these evaluations from the students to improve their classes. So the least you could do is provide that information, complete the evaluation. It helps the institution, it helps the instructor, okay? And talking about evaluations, if you didn't like a professor because you didn't think you were doing well in the class, or because you didn't put in the work, okay? Let's put it that way. You didn't put in the work, so you're getting a bad grade. That's not the instructor's fault, okay? Don't put all that in there in the evaluation. Be very, very honest with yourself and provide constructive feedback to your instructors by completing your evaluations. Please return all borrowed materials, especially seniors. If you're graduating, believe it or not, if you don't turn in your library books, you're probably not going to get your diploma, okay? So please return all borrowed materials, either in the lab, in the dorms, friends, items that you've used. Please, return all those, and then pick up all assignments from your professors. Sometimes professors put graded assignments in front of their office. You want to pick those up. Those are your hard work that is, is out there. Just go get it, have it ready, put it somewhere in your folder so you can go through it. Some of those classes could be prerequisites to classes that you're going to take, okay? And if you can, please take the opportunity to go to your professors and thank them for what a great semester it has been, okay? And that's all I have for you for preparing for the finals. Very quickly, how to prepare for the final itself. Again, I'm hoping that you haven't put everything in one basket, that you're relying on the final to take you over the mountain. That probability is very, very low. So prepare going into your finals. And maybe all you need to get an A in the finals is 70. That means you aced all your classes. Going to the finals is a great situation to have, so you're not stressing too much about the finals, okay? And again, check all your grades. Make sure everything is ready. And most importantly, your next step is getting ready for the next semester. So with that, I'm not sure what the next podcast is going to be, but I don't want to end on this finals here. I might give you one more tip, one more podcast before the holidays. So with that, just all the best on your finals. I wish you all the best on your finals. If you get this, you can share it with your friends on how to prepare for the finals. I trust you do good. And we'll see you on the next episode of Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris.